Alright, what's up? Welcome back to the shop. So, this is the second day of working on Mehrunes Razor. I can't really pronounce it properly, I apologize if I'm getting it wrong. But, this is day 2 of this dagger build. Now, we have effectively an entire day here today, because no one else is supposed to be coming in today. I have the shop to myself, so we can get a lot of work done. Now, the first thing we gotta do is flatten this. So, let me bring it up to you so you can see, but it's very, like, warped. And this is fine, because I haven't heat treated it or anything like that, or hardened it, so realistically a warping in any dimension doesn't matter. I'm going to throw it back in the forge, bring it out here, and then use, if I can find it, there it is, this. Now, this is called a flattening hammer. Very specifically because it flattens things. You effectively put this down on top of the piece, and then you hit the top here, and it'll transfer the force of the hammer across this entire surface and level everything on the piece you're working on. So, all of these bumps and grooves you see will all be effectively the same thickness by the time I'm done with it. Now, the other goal today is that on the dagger, there are these two like divots on either side that come up like here-ish. Let me grab a piece of chalk. So very, very roughly, it kind of looks like that, where it kind of comes up and out. The whole central piece kind of has like a big squareness. Oh, that's the wrong way, stupid. Like a whole squareness to it. Like it's supposed to kind of meet up kind of like that, where it comes up and then back out. So, in order to make this look kind of like we want it to look like, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the hot cut axe, this thing. It's not an actual axe, it's a hot cut axe, and I'm going to cut 2 lines coming in on the sides here, push those out or pull them out either way, and then I'm going to use something round like a mandrel or a chisel or something, or just some round bar I find, and I'm going to give it that roundness to it. And you'll see, I'll put a picture up here of what the dagger looks like again so you can actually see what I'm talking about. But, let's get the forge going, and let's start. I'm excited! Alright, while the forge gets up to temperature, I would like to talk about all the projects we're currently working on, because I'm working on more than one. So, the big one. This is what this project I'm currently doing is all about. This is the Wyvern Kings sword. This is a project I'm making to send to Thick44 of Neebs Gaming. If you're on YouTube right now, which you are because you're watching me, go check out Neebs Gaming. You're gonna love them. Anyway, Thick has some medical issues going on, which you can find out more of on their channel. Basically, he's got to do some surgery for a brain tumor. I don't know the exact details, but I was like, oh shit, this is bad. They're trying to raise money. I can help out. The sword is going to them, so they can either keep it and have a cool piece, or sell it off if they need the money. That's the idea behind it. This piece, the razor I'm making, is effectively going to be raffled off so I can send that piece to Thick, because I am a broke boy. So that's the project going on here and now. One of the other ones I'm working on is this. It's a miniature war pick of sorts. Basically, this is a Ren Fair piece, because me and my girlfriend, fiance, I apologize, we're going to the Washington Midsummer Renaissance Festival. That's it. And you're not allowed to bring sharpened blade weapons, or you can, but you can't really draw them on the like fairgrounds. So I'm like, cool. I'll make a war pick. That's not sharp. I can openly display that, and there's no chance of someone accidentally hurting themselves, because what I'm going to do is effectively round off the edge. Or the tip, rather, not the edge, the tip. There's not going to be any sharp things on this. It's going to be effectively a huge display piece of rounded edges. So that's what I'm doing with that. And the last thing I'm working on is this. This is a kitchen knife for my fiance. She wanted something elegant, and she wanted like a feather pattern on it. So this nice wide edge here, not wide, wide flat surface here, I'm effectively going to take my Dremel and carbide bit, and I'm going to cut in like a feather design to it. That's one of the projects I have to finish today. The other one's over time. This one needs to be done today. Okay, so one of the things that's happening with Mehrunes Razor is that the tang is a lot thicker than the blade is at the moment, and so is the tip of the blade. Now, I'm thinking I'm going to try to forge those a little bit thinner. I could just grind them down, but honestly, I like to forge things. I like to do things with my hands. I like to make sure they're the way I like them by hand. So I've got it backwards in the forge right now, so it's tang in, blade out. I'm going to bring it out, and I'm going to hand hammer a lot of it down. This is going to take a bit of time, but I've got all day. I just want to make it as good as possible. All right, so the blade's a little bit straighter, a little bit flatter, which is good. We don't need it all the way there because it's going to get messed up again anyway. But what we're going to do now, we're going to let it cool down a little bit, and then I'm going to put in the lines I want to cut. So this is going to take a little bit because I need, one, for it to cool down, and two, me to figure out how to do this without making it a mess. This is where it's going to be either make or break. I have to restart, I have to find a new piece, something. But this is basically going to be the defining thing. It's like, you've either messed up or you succeeded. That's it. So I did a little bit of looking here. I drew out a very basic shape of what it's supposed to look like. Then tried to translate that onto the blade here. So what we're looking at is that I'll probably cut these about here, right in the middle of where I figure the dips are going to be. Because then all of this material get pushed this way, and all this material get pushed this way, which will bring all of this outer edge out a bit, which is exactly what we want. So if I just do it there and there, I'm going to do some proper measurements, make sure I know exactly where I'm hitting, but that's effectively what I got to do. Hammer here and hammer here. Alright, now I've never done anything with this thing before, so I have no idea how it actually works. We're just going to shoot for the moon and give it a shot. So I should just be able to do like that, and then... Ow! Fucking scale. Ow. You know what? Just because I don't know how to use that, and I'm afraid I'm going to fuck it up at this point, I'm literally just going to use grinder. I'm just going to grind these lines in, because that's all I need them for. I just need to grind them in, and then I make them bigger with a round bit or something. Now, I don't like to use grinders to take shortcuts like that. But without knowing how to use the tools that I have on a project that I'm concerned that I might fail, I'm going to use a grinder. But I made a mistake very quickly. As you saw with the first cut, I kind of got too shallow, so I made the second cut a little bit higher. Now I need to fix that. And also they're not like symmetrical, but that's something I realized I can fix later. Once I've got it in the forge, I can actually like beat in and get the right shape and size for these. I just need to get them in the right area. Okay, so now my heart's going a little bit. As I'm realizing, if I look at this, it doesn't look good. Like this side here has a nice size to it. There's a nice width there that I can use to make the like flat portion of the blade itself. And then on this side, it's this side here, it's very narrow. So what I'm thinking I'm gonna do, I'm gonna get these round bits going on these sides. I'm gonna get that kind of going in to where I want them to be. and then I'm going to work on getting everything back to shape. So this is going to be a very interesting day now. But I knew it was going to be, because this is going to be interesting. Okay. Oh, I need to put this in the vise, don't I? That would be easier. Balls. Alright, so I gave it a little bit of thought, and what I'm gonna do, I'm thinking this is gonna work. I'm gonna take this railroad spike, I'm gonna chop the head off, and I'm going to bevel the bottom, so it's gonna have a nice roundness to it. So that way I can go in on the leg press, put it on, and just hammer into it, and this will force that round point that we want, and kind of open that space up just a little bit more. Okay, that's kind of working. Alright, so we've kind of gotten those holes or bits punched in. Now, as I'm looking at it and as I'm thinking, what we should do, or what I should do rather, is go in with a file or a Dremel and make these as equal as possible by hand. So, to that end, I'm going to find the stool wherever it went, grab one of the vices, yes, and then get to work filing. Or probably dremeling, because dremeling can be way faster. Alright, so I think what I need to do now, and this is something I said before, I said it in the Iron Dagger video, I'm going to stop. Because as much as I want to get more work done today, I feel like if I stop now, I'll be able to find the solution to the answer that I have, which is, how do I fix this? Because at the moment, it doesn't look great. It's very off-center, everything's kind of just, well, at least these 2 points are kind of off a bit. My first immediate response in my head was I could just grind down all of this in the middle here to match this depth so it would line up pretty much perfectly. And then grind this point to match this point. And that is an option. I don't like it's not a great option, but it's an option. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shut it down for the day and go home and think on this. I'm going to take it with me so I can actively look at it all week and be like, what do I need to do to make this make sense? But yeah, I apologize. Thought I was getting a lot more done today, but this is kind of where we're sitting. And it's just not doing it for me right now. We may have to start over again, which isn't a terrible loss. I will have learned a lot from this attempt. Main factor being that I should widen the blade more here than anywhere else, even though the tip and the tang are the thickest parts. The middle needs to be thicker. Because right now it's thin. It's about as thin as I would like it to be to when I start grinding it, like to actually get to a sharpness. I would like it to be more along the lines of this thickness up here throughout this part of the process. And then I would take it and I would start grinding it down to be the width I would like. But yeah, I think temp number 1 is going to come on with me. I'll look it over and get back to you maybe in a minute, maybe next week. Who knows?